The amount of DMs that I have about this question and that I receive on a weekly basis is insane. So let's cover it. And that is how to build or enhance an hourglass figure. Whether you're just starting training, getting into things, or you've been training for a little while and you're looking to have more physique specific goals, I'm going to walk you through science-backed strategies, effective exercises, and lifestyle hacks to help you exaggerate that hourglass look. Now, it is going to be a little bit of a deep dive, so stick around for tips that you can start implementing from today. First, let's address the answer to the question, is the hourglass shape purely genetic? And the truth is, once you get to a lean body fat, your body shape is going to somewhat depend on your skeletal structure. There are a few elements at play here. What's the natural width of your shoulder points? What's the natural width of your hips? And where does your body naturally store fat? Because everyone has areas of their body where it will lose fat from quickest and areas that can be a little bit more stubborn. Genetics do set the foundation, but don't lose hope. The good news is we can exaggerate your natural shape, we can build muscle in targeted areas, and there are a few little clever adjustments we can do to enhance that shape if that's what you're looking for. If you're not familiar with me, or if you're new to my channel, or if you haven't seen much of my content before, my name is Rachel Ost. I'm a nutritionist, I'm a personal trainer, wellness coach, and mindset coach. I've been coaching people one-on-one for almost 7 years now, and I've been in the fitness industry for almost 11 years. So don't throw in the towel if you're just getting started. Have a little bit of patience, and there are some things that we can do to work towards this shape if that's what you're looking for.
Before my next tip, I just wanted to say thank you to today's video sponsor and my website host, Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or you're managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create beautiful websites, engage with your audience, and sell anything. They have Fluid Engine, which is a next-generation website design system to unlock your creativity. You can start with these incredible website templates and customize every single detail. You can use their built-in analytics and insights to grow your business, set up an online store to sell your products, whether they're physical, digital, or service, and accept appointments on your Squarespace website. But don't just take my word for it. Jump in, start a free trial, see how it feels for you, and when you're ready to hit publish, you can use the URL which I had on the screen or I have down in the description box for a discount off your first purchase.
The cool thing about resistance training is we're actually adding mass and adding tissue. So by building muscle in targeted areas, we can actually create or enhance shapes. This is different to fat loss. Fat loss, we can't really pick where it's going to come from. We can either reduce our body fat or we can increase our body fat, but where our body decides to reduce that from, we don't have full control over. Okay, so let's start with the upper body. I feel like there was a huge trend on Instagram, TikTok, all these sorts of things of fitness influencers being like, if you want a more hourglass shape, you need to train your back. You need to train your back. And I see this a lot. A lot of people will train their back in order to enhance and exaggerate that upper body shape so that the waist looks smaller in comparison. But what a lot of people are neglecting or leaving out, or I don't know if they just don't think to tell you, it's your rear delts.
Enhancing your rear delts is going to really exaggerate that inverted triangle look that we're going for when we're trying to create that hourglass. Because I feel like so much of what you see online when they're talking about creating the hourglass shape, everyone's like, train your back, train your back, train your back. But like, your rear delts are going to cap off the top of your back.
These are tiny muscles. Sometimes that mind muscle connection can be pretty poor and you'll need to train it up. And so here are 3 moves I would absolutely recommend including in your training regime, especially if you're in a build phase, you've got that extra bit of calories, you're focusing on muscle growth. Keep in mind as well, these don't all need to be in your routine at the same time, but these are really effective exercises. So number 1 is face pulls.
Now it is pretty easy for the traps to get involved in this movement as well. So I would recommend starting by reaching out as if you're going to go in for a hug. And then when you're pulling back, you can tilt your arms and wrists up almost as if you're going to slowly turn into a double bicep flex.
Number 2 is rear delt flies, either with dumbbells or doing them on a cable machine. For myself personally, when I do them with dumbbells, when I start to fatigue, my traps get really involved. I find that when I do them on a cable machine with a single arm, I'm able to get a lot better muscle recruitment before my traps start to jump in. And also reverse pec deck. This one can be really, really great for isolating those rear delts and keeping you locked in and stable so we can put a lot of that tension on the rear delt.
Okay, so I have a little hack for you as well. When I first started training, I was doing weight training, but nothing specific for like physique goals. Like I wasn't trying to sculpt any kind of shape or
do anything like that. I was really just training because I enjoyed training and I wanted to see strength progressions and that sort of thing. But then when I started to have more physique tailored goals, I realized that training order sort of needed to change for the, I'm gonna say like lagging body parts. One thing I had to do because my shoulders were really lagging behind was for a period of time, I actually had to bring my shoulders up more in my split. And oftentimes, like if you just download a program or if you find something online, the accessory work, like the little isolation movements, like your lateral raises, your rear delts, like all that sort of stuff is gonna be at the end of the workout, which, you know, there is a lot of sense in that you're preserving most of your energy for the big compound lifts at the start of your workout. But if there is a section that you really want to bring up or a weakness, like even if you're doing like more strength training stuff and there's a weakness that you really want to develop, it's worth bringing that towards the start of the workout, especially rear delts. Like it's such a small muscle. What I ended up doing is pulling rear delts a bit closer to the start of the workout. Shoulder press and chest press and all of those movements that I've done for years and years and years, they had developed the front of my shoulder, but the front of your shoulder isn't going to help create that exaggerated hourglass V. What's going to create that V shape that you're looking for from the back is your medial delt, so the middle delt, and the rear delt, which is the one on the back. On top of building muscle, training your back and training your shoulders can really enhance your posture. If we're constantly hunched, scrunched over, we're not going to look like we are as exaggerated in terms of that hourglass shape. Now, I'm sure you already know that building out the lower body is one of the big keys to creating that hourglass shape.
I want to use some compound movements for really adding on that size where possible, and then we can use isolation movements to target small lagging areas and bring them up, and also other little bits for stabilization. So squats are going to be one of the really good like all-round compound exercises that you can include. I haven't done squats since I had my spinal injury, but if you can put them in, they're going to be a great one for you. They're going to target all parts of your leg and your glutes. One of my favorite movements is actually Romanian deadlift. I love reverse lunges for glute and hamstring development. These also help improve your balance as well, which is something that I used to struggle with. And cable kickbacks. These are one of the exercises that I never, ever used to like doing, but there definitely has been an improvement, and I've noticed a difference since I have put them in my routine.
Next up, we're talking about waist training. And no, I'm not talking about corsets or what the waist trainers or anything like that. Honestly, garbage. Throw them in the bin. You don't need them. I'm talking about your transverse abdominis or your TVA. This is a deep core muscle. Think like underneath, you know, the six-pack abs. We're talking underneath that. It's really deep. And if we can train it, it will pull everything in. And I've done a lot of TVA training ever since I had my spinal injury, because deep core isn't just the front, it's also your lower back as well. So I had to really make sure that I'm training that muscle and making sure that I'm protecting my spine for future movements. And because that's such a regular part of my training now, I do notice a big difference in terms of the exaggeration between my hips and my waist.
Now I want to show you this little transverse abdominis thing that I do. I do this before every training session. So I use a large foam roller like this. And then what I'm going to do is make sure my hips are tucked to the point where I feel like I can activate my lower core through here all the way to the top. It's almost like I'm imagining someone's got a little rope tied at the back of my belly button and they're pulling it toward my spine. Then what I'm going to do is, if you're new to this, you might want to put your arms on the ground like this. I like to have my back like this. And one leg at a time, we're going to pull this up while focusing on keeping that core fully engaged. You should still be able to breathe when you're doing the core engagement. It's tricky when I'm trying to talk to the camera as well. But you should feel the core activation all the way down. If you're just feeling it clenching up here, you're not doing it right. If you're only feeling it clenching up here, you're using your ribs to suck in your stomach rather than actually activating the deep core muscles.
On top of that, I just want to mention, if waist aesthetics are a thing that you want to focus on, I would try to avoid overtraining your obliques. So a lot of twisting movements are great for core strength and strengthening the oblique, but personally, that's not my goal. Now, creating that exaggerated shape isn't just about your training, it's also about what's happening inside your body. Hydration is key, so we want to be aiming for like a minimum of 2 liters a day, and then that target will go up depending on how active you are, how warm the climate is, is, where you are, all of that sort of thing.
What that's going to do is act as a liver support, help your liver remove the toxins that it needs to remove. That's going to help with your hormones. It's going to help with bloating. Being hydrated is also just going to help your body get rid of water retention. If you're dehydrated, you're more likely to hold on to additional water. So this might result in you feeling like puffy in the stomach area or feeling like a little bit of stomach distension as well. And on top of that, if you're trying to pay attention to your food and you're eating a lot of nutrients, you're eating a lot of fiber, but you're not having a lot of water, you're going to be way more prone to bloat. Now, if you do struggle with bloating, bloating is, I'm going to say, common, but it's not normal. It shouldn't have to be something that you deal with every day. It shouldn't be a part of your regular routine.
So we want to start paying attention to your gut health. So this could look like writing out a food diary and keeping note of when you are bloating through the day to start to recognize any triggers. So my clients who experience a lot of bloating when they first start with me, when they're doing their food diary, I also get them to jot down what time of day they noticed they were bloated, if there was any pain, stomach distension, that sort of thing. And then we can work our way backwards and figure out potentially what is causing that trigger without having to eliminate whole entire food groups to do so. We can also add in some foods like kefir, which is packed with probiotics, or bone broth, which contains collagen and amino acids. Both of these can do wonders for your gut health if you don't have them in your routine. And also don't underestimate the power of fiber. Vegetables like spinach, broccoli, sweet potato are all amazing for your digestion. And when we're digesting our foods well, when we're hydrated enough, when our body's able to move food and waste products through easily, we're less likely to feel and look bloated. And don't forget sleep. There's so many studies which show 7 to 9 hours sleep can actually improve recovery time and improve digestion. And it is easier to maintain a leaner body fat percentage when we are getting enough sleep. If you are underslept, you're more likely to overeat. You're more likely to be struggling with recovery. And so your body is going to have a hard time maintaining a leaner composition. And let's be real, this process does take a fair amount of time. I spent years and years and years in growth phases, making sure I was packing on as much muscle as I could. And then every now and again, I do a cut phase where I cut down the calories so that I can see a bit more definition. Any aesthetic goal, training goal, anything like that requires consistency over a long period of time. Track your workouts, celebrate the small wins, and be patient with yourself through this process. Remember that every rep, every meal, every sleep, every little bit of effort adds up. If you're still feeling a little bit stuck, if you want to take things to the next level, I am here to help you. You can check out the coaching program, which I do have available. I'll leave that linked in the description box. All completely personalized by me. I don't use apps to do any programming. I don't use templates, and I don't have assistant coaches running underneath me. I do all the programming directly for my clients. So if you would like my help specifically, check that out. If you made it all the way through to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.